This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rule. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news tonight, a female driver is dead and her passenger is in a battle for her life following a two-car collision in West Grand Bahama yesterday. Kimberly Mullings has the details tonight.
A gruesome two-car collision on Queens Highway in the area of Paradise Cove in Holmes Rock Thursday evening has left one woman dead and sent 3 others to hospital, one of whom is still detained. Reports are that shortly after 5 p.m., both vehicles were traveling on the highway and collided near the corner of the bus stop. Both cars were extensively damaged. The driver and passenger of the Buick Century sustained minor injuries, and the driver of the Jaguar succumbed to injuries at the scene, and the passenger was transported to the Rand Memorial Hospital via EMS personnel. As word spread about the tragic accident, it was here at the Rand Memorial Hospital where residents and loved ones gathered. The female driver who was killed in the accident is identified as 42-year-old Lisa Gibson, an employee of the Freeport Container Port. Her loved ones spoke fondly of her. Relatives say she may have been picking up a group of children for a youth meeting at her church when the fatal accident occurred.
She was very fun to work with on the job and off the job. Like I say, she's a personal friend of mine because I'm a godmother to her last son, Renico, and she was just a joy. She was a pleasant person. She became even more pleasurable to me when she found the Lord and became in church and got involved in everything. She was just an all-around person. It's hard to comprehend right now.
Everyone's worst thought came true. So Lisa Gibson, very dear friend, has passed.
Pastors of the families of those in the fatal accident arrived at the hospital to console one another.
Well, in a situation like this, we just stand with them, quietly pray that, God would sustain them and provide the kind of consolation. In occasions like this, there's not very much you can say other than stand with the folks and let them know that they have your support.
Oh, it is very, very painful because tragic and sudden deaths are always painful. It's not like sickness where you can sort of prepare yourself for the inevitable, but when it is sudden like this and when you're going on your way and doing your life as normal, and to be suddenly impacted with sad news is traumatic. And so they are it's a very strong knitted family, but it is going through an enormous amount of pain at this time.
Police say investigations into this deadly crash are ongoing. I'm Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
Well, ZNS News has learned that the injured passenger is expected to be airlifted for further medical attention. The Minister for Immigration and Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, on Grand Bahama today for a meeting with the members of the Pastors Forum. The session was planned to bring Christian leaders up to date on the new immigration policy. Megan Shepard was there.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, meeting with members of the Pastors Forum to continue their ongoing discussions over various immigration issues. Today's topic, the new policy which came into effect November 1st. Minister Mitchell says the idea is to explain and enlighten on some key points.
Try and disabuse people of the notion that this is selected or targeted at some particular national group, that everybody has to apply by the rules, that we are not shaken in any way, shape, or form by any of the criticism of this, whether at home or abroad. The policies are proceeding. There's going to be no variation, and they will be carried out humanely, but the law is going to be enforced. I mean, that's just the time it is. We could not continue with a situation where, for example, one period during the month of October, for 3 days running, you had boats arriving here with 100 people at a time on these boats. I mean, you just can't continue that.
Now the nation has watched as checks are being carried out on a large scale in New Providence. Minister Mitchell says Grand Bahama has a unique issue when it comes to illegal immigrants.
One of the major problems here is that Grand Bahama is now a staging point for smuggling into the United States. What's been happening is people have been coming from Latin America to Nassau, ostensibly as tourists, and then after spending a week or so as real tourists, they then disappear, and the next thing you know, they're in safe houses up here in Freeport. So we're trying to get to the bottom of that. There are operations ongoing, trying to discover those places and try and put an end to that, because that's a serious threat also. We can't be involved in any way in trying to allow people to be smuggled into the United States, so we want to put a stop to that.
Minister Mitchell says he is asking the public to exercise patience with the checks, which may happen from time to time.
The protocol in place is if you do not have documentation and the immigration officer continues to suspect that you are not documented to be in the Bahamas, releases should take place, in the case of Nassau, at the detention center. In other islands, the releases are to take place at immigration offices, not on the streets. And this is to avoid any allegations of corruption or money passing hand on the streets between immigration officers and people who are suspected or who are detained, or any idea of improper conduct being made against these officers, and for the general well-being of the public.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, Assistant Director of Immigration for the Northern Bahamas, Hubert E. Ferguson, also at today's meeting. He says the implementation of the November 1st policy operations on Grand Bahama have been going smoothly. He notes that here on Grand Bahama, the situation may be a bit different when it comes to illegal immigrants.
You have Jamaicans, you have South Americans, people from El Salvador, you have Guatemalans, you have Ecuadorians, to name a few.
Now, he adds that the addition of new immigration officers have been a major boost in the fight against illegal immigration on Grand Bahama.
We have intelligence gathering officers out there, and you know, based on the intelligence, we check our sources and the areas that are pointed out to us, and so far it's been very successful.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. As the country prepares to honor the lives of those persons who perished in Sunday's fatal plane crash here on Grand Bahama, a clarion call is going out as the nation continues to mourn. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
Newly appointed chairman of Bahamas Faith Ministries, Pastor Dave Burrows, appealing to the nation for their continued support as the church family prepares to bury its dead.
It's a very complicated situation. We basically have to do either 4 or 5 funerals in the space of a week or 2. And so we are just going through the logistics right now. And as you know, the logistics for Dr. Monroe is even more difficult than everybody else because there's so much involved. But we're working through the process. We have a lot of people assisting us. We have had, members of cabinet. We have had everybody say to us, let us know how we can help. So the country has really, supported us. And I mean, the outpouring of support has just been tremendous. I mean, I've really appreciated it because it's helped me to be stronger.
Burrows spoke candidly about Dr. Monroe's affinity with his God and country. He says despite Dr. Miles Monroe's international acclaim and global status, he was not readily embraced by all. I think we in the Bahamas appreciated Dr. Miles Monroe and the gift that he was to the kingdom.
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people were beginning to recognize it. A lot of people were beginning to recognize it, but so many people, sometimes they say a prophet is not honored in their hometown. Now, he has received a lot of honor and a lot of people do respect him, but a lot of people don't understand exactly who Dr. Monroe was. Some people are beginning to understand, because I have had people call me and they said, he was on CNN and he was on Fox and they were talking about him, So I think some people do, but a lot of people still don't recognize that what a remarkable man he was and what a global icon.
This former youth pastor reflected on how he recently passed on the proverbial mantle of leadership. He paid tribute to the late newly inducted youth pastors, LeVard and Raydell Parks. Said how excited he was to make that trip, knowing that he was about the mission of the kingdom. Obviously, his mission was being fulfilled.
Well, in the case of Minister LeVard Parks, he was just beginning, and he had so many bright ideas, and he had, just a couple weeks earlier. I mean, I can't even remember all of the dates now. Everything is kind of confused. But he and his wife coordinated a celebration for me, and the whole weekend, 3 days of celebration commemorating, my transition and my years in ministry, and they organized and brought together all of the kids who I ministered to for the last 30 years, and we had people fly in from the U.S. and different places, other people send in videos, and it was, it was such a joyous occasion, and everything was so bright for them. He just was appointed as president of the Christian Youth Leaders Network in the Bahamas, and so everything, just looks so beautiful and so bright, and even though it's so tragic, as his father said, he was on a mission. He was doing the right thing.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Well, on Wednesday, December 3rd, a memorial service celebrating the life and contributions of Dr. Miles and Ruth Ann Monroe will take place at a venue to be determined. Their funeral is scheduled for Thursday, December 4th at BFM's Diplomat Center. The homegoing service for Pastor Richard Pinder is planned for Tuesday, December 2nd at the BFM's Diplomat Center. The other victims of that crash were youth pastors LeVard Parks, his wife Riddell, and their son Johannan, pilots Captain Stanley Thurston and Fracken Cooper, and U.S. Pastor Diego De Santiago. Well, students throughout Grand Bahama are getting the opportunity to plan for the future. The Grand Bahama Principals and Vice Principals Association will be hosting a college fair this weekend. Over 20 colleges and universities from the Caribbean, America, and Canada have confirmed participation.
The fair exposes young people to the many opportunities which exist for them for further education in the Bahamas and beyond. Students are encouraged, we encourage all students to bring along their transcripts, national exam results, and other documents.
Now, the fair will take place on Sunday, November 16th from 1:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Bishop Michael Eldon High School, and it is planned students in grade 12 and 11 are set to attend.
The focus looks bright and provides real opportunities if students work hard and remain focused in their studies. The college fair is just an example of making higher education readily available to all our young people here in Grand Bahama.
The Cancer Society of Grand Bahama is leading the cause in cancer detection and prevention. This weekend, doctors from Nassau and Freeport will conduct screenings for all major forms of cancers affecting males and females. Clinical Director for Community Health Services, Dr. Tiadra Dorset Johnson, is urging residents to take advantage of the screenings.
It's very unfortunate these days when you hear of persons dying of cervical cancer, because we know with regular pap smears you can detect early and cure early diagnosis. And so we just want to urge persons to start to get their pap smears regularly, and you can start this from about age 21 if you're sexually active up to age 65.
Now, President of the Cancer Society, Patricia Edgecombe, says it is important for residents to take part in the screening, as some cancers can be prevented if detected early.
We find that women, after they have their children, they'll go and they get their pap smear, and after that, they don't have it for another 5 or 10 years, and by that time they get cervical cancer. And the pap smear gives us early detection for cervical cancer, and also any changes that may occur in the cervix and before it turns cancerous. And so your early detection is your best protection. So we are urging persons to come out on Saturday from 9 to 4 and the 8 Mile Rock Clinic and the PS Plaza to take advantage of this. They'll be also doing breast exams for women and prostate testings for men. Now, we have had a lot of men come out in September to the us too, had their prostates done, over 400, which is commendable, and we're still asking those men who hadn't had it done to come out and take advantage of having their exams done.
Now, testing will take place at the Paris Plaza Clinic and the 8 Mile Rock Clinic from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, November 15th. Well, tonight, a young family is making an urgent appeal for help as mounting medical bills is creating a challenge for them. The young husband and father are looking to the public for assistance as he struggles to get a life-saving surgery. Lionel Duncombe, a healthy young man with much to live for, says it took him by surprise when his health started to fade in 2011.
I used to exercise a lot, around the beach and stuff, and then I started feeling like funniness in my leg. I started feeling this tingling and small little spasms.
But he would later find out that he had a brain tumor. In 2012, his then-girlfriend said he had to have 2 major surgeries.
One was to remove the tumor, but they wasn't able to get all of the tumor out due to the swelling of the brain. And he had the cap from the head was actually placed in his stomach to preserve it, and then it was placed back onto the brain.
2012 was a big year for Lionel as he, along with Sharika, got married. Now they have a beautiful baby girl, but there is one major problem. While the surgery shrunk the tumor, it is not enough. Lionel is in constant pain, and doctors say he must travel abroad to do another life-saving surgery.
Well, it has been rough. With the new baby and everything being here, I'm the sole breadwinner at the moment. So it has been a strain on me, but God has been good in the midst. If he doesn't get the surgery, he can get worse, and it could possibly be fatal.
To save Lionel's life will take another surgery called the awake cranial surgery, and the cost is up to $100,000. Now, family friend David Wallace has lined up some of the best entertainment on Grand Bahama to host a concert to aid Lionel's medical expenses.
We are pleased to announce that a Miracle Mission concert is going to be held on Sunday, the 16th of November at Freeport Bible Church, where we all worship, at 6 p.m. in the evening. Tickets are priced at $15 for a person to come and enjoy the evening.
Now, of course, you can purchase those tickets at the Freeport Bible Church on the night of the concert. And this weekend is a big one for the island of Grand Bahama as Grammy Award-winning artist Karen White, as well as some of the world's renowned comedians, will perform at the Grand Lucine Resort. Flying High Promotions is promising a spectacular show, as it will be the last Love and Laugh production for the year. International recording and Grammy-nominated artist Karen White set to hit the stage at the Grand Lucine for the final Love and Laugh comedy show this Saturday. She will perform songs like Superwoman, Flying High Promotions Public Relations Director Yolanda Hanna says this Grammy Award-winning artist will bring the magic back to the city.
Diva from the 80s and the 90s with hits like Superwoman, Can I Stay With You, I'd Rather Be Alone Than Be Unhappy. I mean, Karen White is so beloved. I think everyone knows a Karen White song. And I think you mentioned it earlier about karaoke. When you talk about karaoke and there's a party, there's an old school party, there is a Karen White song in the mix. And so we are so happy that Karen White is coming to Grand Bahama.
Also appearing are some of the best and brightest comedy acts in the Bahamas, as well as the United States.
One of the things we've been able to do with each and every show, we've been able to showcase some of the funniest comedians on the comedy scene today. And so Brooklyn Mike, who has dubbed himself an honorary Grand Bahamian, Brooklyn Mike is coming back to host the show. He's bringing 2 friends with him, again, young comedians who've performed on BET's Comic View, HBO's Def Comedy Jam, and so many other comedy forums. They are coming as well. And in true Flying High tradition, we are showcasing a Bahamian talent.
The Love and Laugh comedy show will be held this Saturday at the Grand Lucayan Ballroom at 9 p.m. Proceeds will assist the Grand Bahama Children's Home. In her mind, she thinks she's the modern-day Karen White. Sabrina Brown is up next with a check on sports.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sabrina Brown. Sports Tonight dedicated to Fred Delancey, who's celebrating a birthday. Well, diet and exercise are the 2 basic rules to losing weight, and as members of our ZNS team works to get fit, Coach Rob says you too can feel inspired. Megan Shepard has the story.
The ZNS Challenge is slowly winding down, and Coach Rob Harris says he's seeing some results and some breakout stars. Now, Coach Rob says the secret is to stick to your diet, get in your much-needed cardio, and of course some hardcore training at the compound.
You see, I'm hard on people when they think that below average is good enough. You know, average isn't even good enough. It's above average. That's gonna get the props from me. You know, and when people start doing that, that's gonna hear the nice side. But now you can hear that because everyone here has now accomplished that. You know, and now they realize what I was talking about.
Now, for those that have been following our stories over the past few weeks, Coach Rob says there is no need for you to feel left out. He says just remember the simple rules of diet and exercise.
And I want to say thank you to ZNS because they're doing a national service here by actually putting some of the positive out there about fitness and nutrition. And when people call in, tell them, look, call the compound. Come by, get a free session with us. Okay, first time's on us, just see if you even like it or not. All right, because we want people to be fit and healthy.
Now, he says don't forget to have the right mental attitude, and anything is possible as long as you put your mind to it. Only 2 more weeks are left in the challenge, and it's a battle to see who will be the fittest. Megan Shepard, ZNS Total Sports.
Well, I guess you guys can be the judge, and that's a check on sports tonight.